I want to use this medium to appreciate the presiding chancellor, the deputy chancellors, the respected board of regents, faculty members, program directors, course advisors, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adego Keoludoto Leke Newton, a PhD student of Church Administration and Management at Real Life Christian College and Seminary. In this day's presentation, we shall look into the topic, the significance of theophanies in the book of Exodus, God's revelation to Moses. This paper looked into the significance of theophanies in Exodus, emphasizing their role in establishing the covenant, revealing God's character, and empowering Moses. It analyzes key passages and scholarly interpretation, highlighting their centrality in Exodus narrative as well as theology. The chapter 1 of this study introduces the book of Exodus, focusing on its historical and theological context, particularly the significance of theophanies, which is divine manifestation, in shaping its narrative. The chapter explores the authorship and the dating debate surrounding Exodus, highlighting its socio-political backdrop in ancient Egypt and the Near East. It emphasizes the theological importance of theophanies, which serves to reveal God's nature and establish the covenant with Israel. Key theophanies moments, such as the burning bush, the theophany at Mount Sinai, are examined, illustrating how these encounters mark pivotal points in Israel's journey and theological understanding. As objective, the paper aims to exploit the theological significance of theophanies in Exodus, focusing on covenant establishment and the revelation of God's character. Through a comprehensive analysis of key passages and themes, the research seeks to deepen understanding of these divine manifestations and their implication for contemporary faith and spirituality. Chapter 2 delves into the significant theophanic encounters in the book of Exodus, particularly focusing on the burning bush and the theophany at Mount Sinai. The burning bush theophany serves as a pivotal moment in Moses' life, the liberation of Israel from Egypt. Scholars like Nahum Sinner and Walter Brueggemann offers insightful commentary on its theological implications, highlighting Moses' call to leadership and the revelation of God's sacred name, Yahweh. This divine encounter, set amidst Moses' pastoral duties in the wilderness, initiates his prophetic vocation and underscores the ultimate relationship between God and his chosen servant. The burning bush not only signifies Moses' commission to deliver Israel from bondage, but also reveals God's character as a compassionate and merciful God. Similarly, the theophany at Mount Sinai is explored as a climatic event, solidifying the covenant between God and Israel. Scholars such as John Dohan and Teres Frinhen provide depth to the understanding of this event, emphasizing its preparation, revelation, and covenantal implications. Before the theophany at Mount Sinai, Moses ascended the mountain to receive instructions from God regarding the covenant. The revelation of Mount Sinai is accompanied by awe-inspiring phenomena, including thunder, lightning, and the sound of a trumpet, signaling the majestic presence of Yahweh among his people. At Mount Sinai, God ratifies the covenant with Israel, giving them the Ten Commandments and delineating the terms of their relationship. The covenant established at Sinai shapes Israel's identity and their moral character, defining their relationship with God. The theophany at Mount Sinai solidifies Israel's identity as the chosen people of God, consecrated to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Through this divine encounter, Israel commits to obedience and loyalty to Yahweh, establishing the framework for their communal life and their spiritual journey. Chapter 3. Chapter 3 exploits the theme of divine guidance and revelation in the book of Exodus, focusing on two significant theophanic manifestations, that is, the pillar of cloud and fire and the tent of meeting. The pillar of cloud and fire, depicted in Exodus 13, 21 to 22, and chapter 40, verse 34 to 38, symbolizes God's guidance, His protection, and provision for the Israelite during their wilderness journey. It serves as a visible manifestation of God's presence, providing shade and direction by day and illumination by night. Scholars like Richard Elliott, Fredman, and Walter Kieser Jr. offers insight into its practical and spiritual significance, emphasizing God's faithfulness to His covenant promises and His commitment to caring for His people. Additionally, the symbolism of the cloud, symbolizing His holiness and purifying presence, is explored by scholars such as John Calvin and Brevard Childs. The tent of meeting, as described in Exodus chapter 3, verse 7 to 11, serves as a sacred space where God meets with Moses and communicates His will to His own people. The intimate encounter reflects the relational aspect of Israel's covenant with God, highlighting Moses' role as a mediator and intercessor. Scholars like Gerhard von Rad and Claude Westermann examine the significance of Moses' leadership and intercessory ministry in shaping Israel's identity as well as destiny. Additionally, the tent of meeting foreshadows the future revelation of God's presence in the tabernacle and the temple, serving as prototype for Israelites' worship practices. Scholars such as Jacob Midgrom and Mary Douglas discuss the continuity between the tent of meeting and the latter Israelite religious traditions. Chapter 4. Chapter 4 delves into the theological depth of the book of Exodus, exploring two central themes: the covenant relationship and the divine presence, and the revelation of God's character as well as His attributes. In the covenant relationship, Exodus portrays God as the covenant-making and the covenant-keeping God who initiate a special bond with the people of Israel. This covenant, established at Mount Sinai, binds Israel to God and vice versa. Scholars such as Walter Brueggemann and Terence Friedman analyze the nature and the significance of this covenant, thereby emphasizing its mutual obligation as well as the commitment. Central to this relationship is God's promise of presence among its people, symbolized by the pillar of cloud and the fire, and manifested in the tabernacle. The presence of God sustains and transforms Israel, as noted by scholars like Bernard Anderson and Nahum Sinner, underscoring its transformative power and the sustaining grace. Additionally, Exodus reveals essential aspects of God's character and His attributes. God's holiness and majesty are evident in the theophanic encounters with Moses, demonstrating His transcendence and otherness. Scholars like Gerhard von Rad and Abraham Skikal explore the theological significance of God's holiness, emphasizing its moral as well as its ethical implication for Israel's worship and their lifestyle. Furthermore, God's compassion, its mercy, God's justice, as well as His righteousness are manifested throughout the Exodus narrative. He responds to the cries of His people, delivering them from oppression and demonstrating His commitment to justice. Scholars like Christopher J. H. Wright and Carol Myers delve into the theological implication of God's compassion as well as His justice, highlighting their significance for Israel's identity as well as their mission. Through a comprehensive analysis of these themes, scholars deepens our understanding of God's character, His relationship with His people, and His purpose in history. The theological richness of the Exodus narrative and its enduring significance for contemporary faith and practices are underscored through the exploration of the covenant as well as the divine presence and the revelation of God's character. In conclusion, the study of theophanies in the book of Exodus unveils profound theological truth about God's relationship with humanity. Through examining encounter between God and Moses and the broader themes of covenant and divine presence, scholars deepen our understanding of Exodus' significance. Theophanic encounters mark pivotal moment in Israelites' history, revealing God's sovereignty, His holiness, His compassion and justice. The covenant framework highlights God's relational aspect, pledging His presence and guidance in exchange for faithfulness. However, theophanics reveal essential attributes of God, shaping Israel's understanding and informing believers' interpretation of divine actions throughout history. Exodus thus serve as a theological lens for understanding God's nature as well as His purpose. Thanks for listening. God bless you.